Hi YouTube, this is Eric. Thanks for watching this video, and this is how to adult when you're suffering from depression, anxiety, mental illness, trying to be sober. This is how to adult through those and what I use to help my adulting. So if you haven't clicked the like and subscribe button yet, they're right down there. Click the like and subscribe button, join us, comment below. Love having you along for the journey. Let's do this together. Hi YouTube, this is Eric. Thanks for watching this video. This is something that got me really excited to do a video on because we are never given a guidebook or a rule book in life of how to adult. This is what it's all about, especially when we're not given any instructions on how to do it and what to do. But now throw in the mix of depression, anxiety, OCD, ADHD, PTSD, throw in, trying to be a recovering addict and maintaining your sobriety. That can make adulting a little bit more challenging. And I wanted to do a video on how I adult and some of the things that I use to keep adulting and making sure that I protect my relationship with my wife, to make sure that I'm a functioning human being, and also knowing what some of the triggers are, because I was triggered really heavily the last couple days because of the weather. It's raining here. I'm in Southern California. It's rainy. It's gloomy. I work out of my house. And it is one of the hardest things in the world for me to do is to push through it, especially when the weather's this way. It helps shut me down. I'll sit here and play with my dog like I am right now since he's in a playful mood and you can't see him and yet we're playing tug of war. It's a challenge and it's a struggle. Going through and figuring out, hey, how do I adult? How do I make it through this? How do I make my days a little bit easier? First and foremost, the biggest thing I could say, hygiene. It's all about hygiene. You got to make sure that you're waking up, you're taking a shower, and brushing your teeth, doing your deodorant, and putting on some clean clothes. Sounds really, really dumb, and sounds really, really stupid, and sounds so easy, and like everybody should do it. I guarantee you, half the people out there don't. It's difficult too sometimes, especially if you're off that day, if you're not working, if you're sick, whatever it might be. That morning routine right there helps start the progress of the day. If you skip your shower and you're just, I'm going to be in grunge mode today, believe me, it affects your mentality, affects your attitude, and you haven't started off with small accomplishments. Funniest things I ever heard was, if you want to start off your day and be successful, set your bed. Because it's a building of small accomplishments that help us accomplish even more throughout the day. And when you're dealing with depression, anxiety, those small victories are something worth celebrating. It's worth celebrating jumping into the shower and taking a shower. It's worth celebrating brushing your teeth. It's difficult for some of us. You're not alone if you're one of those that suffer from it or one of those that have a challenge with it. Believe me, you're not alone. Hygiene is everything. So make sure that when you're waking up, taking that shower, no matter what day it is, you're taking time to put on the clothes that you need to put on. You're setting your bed. You're doing what you need to do. In the morning time, take your medication. If you're not taking your medication, you have medication, take it. Because if you don't, that alone right there will throw off your whole day and is a huge trigger for a lot of people. And unfortunately, it's one of the most difficult ones because if we miss our medication, we don't realize it sometimes until all of a sudden the day's going by. Our day is off and our day is a challenge and we don't know why it's such a challenge until it registers, oh my goodness, I didn't take my medication this morning or I didn't take my afternoon medication. So make sure that you're taking your meds. Make sure that you're doing the proper hygiene. Make sure you're setting your bed. Make sure that you're doing those little accomplishments that you can look back and say, hey, I already did this, this, and this, and this for the day. Get a notepad together, put together a to-do list for the day, and it helps push it through. It helps you be aware and alert of what you have to do because depression and anxiety will infiltrate our brains, and that's all we'll focus on. And then it's hard to gather our thoughts to even know what we need to do next. Putting together a to-do list is huge. So I'm going to go out. I'll show you the rain right now because I tell you what, this weather has actually really triggered a lot of anxiety for me tremendously. And it's because it made it hard for me to focus with work, working out of my house, which then it brings on my depression. I know what the triggering effects are. Knowing what those are, being able to admit what they are, and then figuring out ways around them is huge. So you got yourself all ready, you're ready to get out of the house, and you run into this. It's bad weather. I live in Orange County, California. We don't often have a lot of rain, and when rain hits, it does definitely trigger different things, especially if you're dealing with anxiety and depression. This can be a huge trigger just because we don't want to leave the house. Today is the day that I'm forcing myself to leave the house, mainly because I leave on a trip to Michigan tomorrow, and I'm going to be gone for a couple days, so I have a ton of things to do. Having a to-do list and checking it off is everything. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a counselor. Take your medication, though, if you're prescribed it. Believe me, it helps. If it wasn't for my medication and it wasn't for my Adderall, I wouldn't be able to be doing this right now. I would end up sitting inside and not wanting to do anything. It's very difficult with me personally to be active sometimes when the weather is like this, because in a sense it is a trigger for me where I become extremely lazy. Then I get depressed because I'm lazy and I'm not doing anything. This is what it's about though. It's about pushing through it and making it happen. I got a huge to-do list. I got to get ready for this trip. I'm going to be gone for a couple days. It's very important with work, and I cannot let my work life suffer. As much as I want to help others, even when it comes to mental illness and reaching out and making videos and stuff, I have to always remember what my priorities are. And that's part of adulting with depression, anxiety, ADHD. We have to know what our priorities are and focus on those priorities and stick to them. Otherwise, if our personal life suffers, we can't help anybody else out. Stick with your priorities. Make sure you're taking your medication. So important to adulting. We can do this. You can do this. Part of the to-do list today, I have to end up going to the mail. I go to the post office. I haven't actually been in a while. I do have my own website, and I do clothing for suicide awareness. Trust me, with it comes with anxiety and depression and stuff. We don't want to leave the house sometimes. And when I've taken this new job and I work out of my house now, it's provided to be very, very difficult to me. I, all my life, have been used to going and working out of an office where it's a set place. I'm away from everything. Now I have left the house. I've packaged up what I need to mail off. I stop by 7-Eleven, and I do, like I've mentioned in other videos, because of my ADHD, I take my Adderall, but I also do take caffeine. It does help me. Plus, it helps keep me away from the alcohol. One, I got to go to the post office. I got to mail this stuff off. Then I'm stopping and getting my wife some coffee, bringing it to her for work, because I'm not going to see her for a little bit. And part about being an adult is protecting our relationships. Protecting my relationship with my wife and letting her know that she's important and how much I love her is a huge part about being an adult. We have to protect and work on our relationships because they don't just happen. We have to make them happen. Big piece of advice I have: we don't always have access to our therapist. If you are seeing a counselor, if you are seeing a therapist and you're having a rough day, especially like with this, if the weather's triggering you or something is triggering you, reach out for support. Just get support out there. I tell people a lot of times, go onto social media, find some of the groups out there like Sick Not Weak, but get other people to talk to and just understand with, because part of a therapist is we vent, and our spouses usually aren't the best person to vent to. My wife, I can drive her insane venting to her, and I don't blame her, because it's a lot of negative emotions that come out, and our spouses want to help fix us, and they want to help support us, and sometimes they don't know how to. So reach out for support if you're having a rough day and you're running into a lot of triggers. The weather is really screwing with you. Reach out to them. Social media friends, you never really have met them sometimes in person, and it's somebody who you're not a burden to, so you can just share with. It makes a huge difference of being able just to share, knowing we're not a burden and knowing we're not putting any of our life problems on them, not expecting them to solve them, but letting us get it out. So here's where I go to actually get my wife coffee. One of the little tricks that I can do sometimes when I'm trying to be out there and just being an adult functioning, and my anxiety's kicking in, I don't want to be around other people, or don't want other people kind of talking to me. I'll throw in my headphones, just have it attached to my phone. Nobody realizes that I'm not on the phone, but they see the headphones, so they leave me alone. It's one of those beautiful little joys. One of the biggest things about adulting, especially when it comes to depression and anxiety, is we get trapped in our heads so much that we have to remember, especially if we're in a relationship, of how much we have to protect that relationship. To do something nice for your spouse, because they're the ones that are standing by us. Part of being an adult and part of pushing through all of this is remembering to do something kind for them. I'm at my wife's work right now, and I brought her some Starbucks coffee. It's rainy, it's cold out. It's things like this that we do to make another person's day, especially the ones that we love. And part of adulting is keeping that marriage and keeping that relationship, keeping that boyfriend, fiance, keeping that partner in our life, letting them know that they're important too. So I got back home now after doing my errands that I needed to do, which we have to do errands as an adult. We have to do the things that matter in life to us, and it's forcing you to go through with those. So putting together that to-do list, keeping a routine, keeping a calendar together so that we stay focused and we know what we're doing to push it through the day. It's huge. That's what helps me adult with everything that goes on in my brain. It might work for you. All it is about sharing tools and sharing what works for us. Now that I'm home, I have to push through, because taking care of our house as a adult is important. I don't know about anyone else. It's a big trigger for my depression. It's a big trigger for my anxiety. I get extremely overwhelmed if my house is dirty, if the dishes aren't done, if the laundry isn't done, and if the house isn't clean. It's a very big trigger for me. Part of adulting is I can't let it get to that point where it triggers me that I shut down. Now that I'm home, I'm going to be doing cleaning. I'm going to pack my bags for my trip coming up, and I have a huge to-do list now for the rest of the day and pushing through it. Make sure that you're doing your laundry. Make sure that you put a schedule together even to do this, because the more that we fall behind in some of those things, the more that it can pile up, and the more that we feel our life's out of control. The more that we can get hit with that depression, we can get hit with that anxiety, because a lot of it does become overwhelming anxiety. If you suffer from OCD, it can be a very big trigger. So make sure that you're taking care of your household. Make sure that you're taking care of the stuff that you need to take care of. You can hear my dog running around in the background. I got to take care of him. Come up with a to-do list. Come up with even with a schedule, a routine of doing the laundry, doing the dishes, making sure your house is in order. Because when our house is in order, then we can really flourish and we can keep moving forward. Adulting with the challenges of life sometimes isn't the easiest thing in the world. It's hard. Let's face it, we have the stress of family, we have the stress of work, we have the stress of just life, we have the stress of bills, we have the stress of so many different things that we have to control the stress that we can control. We can only control the controllable and change the changeable. So let's control what we can control, and it will help. The best part too is, if you're suffering from depression, hitting these small little goals, oh my goodness, it does great things, because I accomplished this. Anytime I accomplish something, it makes me feel good. It releases the dopamine in my brain of feeling good that, look what I did. Have your house in order. That's the last and biggest thing I can say is keep your house in order. Make sure that you get done everything that you need to get done. Because once that's done, once we have that calmness, that everything around us is taken care of, it's so much easier. The anxiety does fade some. The depression does fade some. And these are just some natural things. I mean, yeah, you can do meditation and all this other stuff too. I'm a big fan of those also. But I'm also a big fan of medication, because in certain aspects we do need medication. I've never met anybody who just a diet and meditation alone had fixed clinical depression. Adding up a bunch of these tools together makes a difference. So try them. Try it out. See what happens. Adulting is not the easiest thing in the world. There was not a rule book or a guidebook to it when we became an adult and we had to start functioning in life, finding what works for us. So I hope that you got some good tips out of this. Again, appreciate everybody who's been a part of this channel and helped me grow it. If you haven't clicked the like and subscribe button, click the like and subscribe button down there, because it's about people helping people and going through life together and doing this together and realizing it's not just us. It's not just in our head. We all have it. But we all can do it too. Thanks so much. Comment below if you have any questions. I'd love to hear your input. Hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate you all.